The world is holding its breath, and most people don't even realize it. Right now, more than 100 massive cargo ships are floating in silence, engines humming, crews waiting, captains staring at the horizon. They aren't stuck because of war. They aren't blocked by pirates. There's no accident, no explosion, no political shutdown. The waterway ahead of them is open, and yet they cannot pass. Each one of these ships is ready to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars just for the chance to move forward. Some would even pay more. But money isn't the problem this time. The real enemy is something far more powerful: nature. The Panama Canal, one of the greatest engineering miracles ever built, is fighting for survival. And the crisis it faces isn't loud or dramatic like a storm. It's a quiet, slow, invisible. But if this waterway falls, the shock waves won't just hit shipping companies. They will hit you. They will hit me. They will hit the entire world. Because what's happening in Panama right now could change global trade forever. And here's the twist. This battle isn't against another country. It's against the climate itself. To understand why this moment is so dangerous, we have to go back in time. More than a century ago, the idea of cutting through the narrow strip of land in Panama sounded impossible. Two massive oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific, separated by thick jungle, disease, and mountains. Many tried. Thousands died. It was a dream that seemed cursed. Then, in 1914, the dream became reality. The Panama Canal opened, and the world changed overnight. Ships no longer had to sail all the way around the bottom of South America, risking violent seas near Cape Horn. Instead of a 25,000-kilometer journey, vessels could cut straight through Central America, saving weeks of time and millions in fuel. Time is money, and the canal was a time machine. Today, nearly 6% of global trade passes through this narrow waterway. From electronics made in Asia to food grown in America, from cars to oil to medical supplies, everything moves through these locks. Without the canal, ships must travel thousands of extra miles. That means higher fuel costs, higher shipping fees, higher prices in stores. But what makes the canal so special isn't just its location, it's how it works. Unlike the Suez Canal, which is flat and at sea level, the Panama Canal sits about 26 meters above sea level in the middle. Ships don't simply sail across, they are lifted. Yes, lifted. Massive lock systems raise ships step by step into an artificial lake called Gatun Lake. From there, they sail across the lake, then are lowered back down on the other side. And here's the shocking part. Those locks don't use pumps. They don't use motors. They use gravity. Fresh water from the Gatun Lake flows into the locks, lifting ships up or lowering them down. It's brilliant, elegant, simple. But there's a hidden cost. Every single time a ship passes through the canal, millions of gallons of fresh water are released into the ocean, gone forever. That fresh water comes from rain. For more than 100 years, nature provided enough rainfall to refill Gatun Lake. Tropical storms and seasonal rains kept the system balanced. But what nobody predicted in 1914 was climate change. And now the rain is disappearing. Over the past few years, Panama has experienced some of the driest conditions in its history. Rainfall has dropped dramatically. Lake levels have fallen to dangerous lows. At its busiest, the canal allows around 36 to 38 ships to pass every day. But when water levels fall, that number must be reduced, because without enough fresh water, the locks cannot function safely. So, authorities made a painful decision. They cut daily ship traffic nearly in half. Imagine that. A global trade highway suddenly operating at reduced capacity, not because of conflict, not because of politics, but because there isn't enough rain. And that's when the chaos began. Ships started lining up outside the canal. Some waited days, others waited weeks. Companies that didn't book months in advance were forced to sit in open water, burning fuel while going nowhere. Shipping prices soared. And here's what nobody expected. Some companies began paying millions just to jump the line. Auction systems were introduced, allowing the highest bidder to secure faster passage. One shipping slot reported sold for several $1,000,000, far above the normal transit fee. Desperation does that. Because when cargo is delayed, factories shut down, store shelves empty, contracts collapse. But the canal's managers are trapped in a brutal dilemma. On one side, the canal generates billions of dollars every year for Panama's economy.
It's a lifeline, a symbol of national pride. On the other side, Gatun Lake isn't just for ships. It provides drinking water to millions of people in Panama. Let that sink in. Every ship that passes through uses fresh water that local families depend on for survival. So what do you choose? Global trade or clean drinking water? That's not a business decision. That's a moral crisis. Authorities cannot simply pump seawater into the lake. If salt water mixes with fresh water, the lake becomes unusable for drinking. They also can't magically create rain. So they introduced restrictions. Heavier ships, which require more water to lift, are being limited. Cargo loads are reduced. Daily transits are capped. Advance bookings stretch months ahead. And still, it's not enough. What makes this even more frightening is that this isn't a one-time drought. Climate scientists warn that extreme weather patterns are becoming more frequent. El Niño cycles are intensifying. Dry seasons are lasting longer. Each year the rains return, but sometimes they return weaker. And every weak rainy season pushes the canal closer to the edge. Meanwhile, global trade keeps growing. Bigger ships, more cargo, faster delivery demands. The system was designed for a different era. Now, nature is rewriting the rules. Some experts have proposed building new reservoirs to store more rainwater. Others suggest massive infrastructure upgrades to recycle water within the locks. But these projects cost billions and take years to complete. Time the canal may not have. So shipping companies are already looking for alternatives. Some reroute around South America, adding thousands of miles and massive fuel expenses. Others shift towards the Suez Canal. And here's another twist. In southern Mexico, the government is developing the Interoceanic Corridor across the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, a rail and port system meant to compete with Panama. If successful, cargo could be unloaded on one coast, transported by rail, then reloaded on the other side. It won't replace the canal entirely, but it could reduce its dominance. Competition is rising, and for the first time in over a century, the Panama Canal's future feels uncertain. But beyond economics, beyond politics, beyond engineering, there's something deeply human about this story. Think about the workers who operate the locks every day. Generations of families have built their lives around this waterway. Think about small businesses in Panama that depend on canal activity. Think about the pride of a nation that once accomplished what the world called impossible.
Now, imagine watching water levels drop year after year. Imagine realizing that the greatest engineering masterpiece in your country's history is vulnerable, not to bombs, not to enemies, but to changing weather patterns. It feels unfair. It feels out of control. For Panama, this isn't just about trade routes. It's about identity. And for the world, this isn't just about shipping schedules. It's about how fragile our global systems truly are. We built highways across oceans. We connected continents. We made it possible for a product manufactured in Asia to appear on a shelf in America within weeks. We believed technology solved everything. But here's the reality. All of it still depends on nature. Rain, wind, water. When the rain stops, even the strongest steel gates become useless. And that's the painful lesson unfolding right now. The Panama Canal is not officially dead. Ships are still passing, trade continues, engineers are working day and night to adapt. But the warning signs are flashing. If rainfall continues to decline, if climate patterns grow more extreme, the canal may face permanent operational limits. That would reshape global trade in ways we barely imagine. Higher costs, longer delivery times, increased emissions from longer shipping routes, strain on alternative corridors, and ultimately higher prices for everyday people. The crisis in Panama is a preview of something bigger. It shows how climate change doesn't just melt glaciers or raise sea levels. It quietly attacks the systems we depend on. It challenges infrastructure built for a different climate. It forces impossible choices between profit and survival. But here's the part that gives hope. Human beings built the Panama Canal once, under impossible conditions, with far fewer tools than we have today. Innovation created it. Innovation can protect it. New water-saving lock systems, smarter reservoir management, climate-adaptive engineering, solutions exist. The question is whether they'll come fast enough. Because nature doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for budgets to be approved. It simply changes the rules, and we must adapt. So the next time you see a container ship on the horizon, remember this story. remember that behind that steel giant lies a delicate balance of rainwater and gravity. Remember that somewhere in Panama, officials are measuring lake levels, calculating rainfall forecasts, making decisions that affect the entire planet. The Panama Canal isn't just a shortcut. It's a symbol of human ambition and human vulnerability. Right now, it stands at a crossroads. Will it adapt and survive another century? Or will history remember this moment as the beginning of its decline? Only time and rain will answer that. And until then, the world waits.